Hello. Welcome back to part 11 of 30 days JavaScript challenge on LeetCode. And let's do this memoirs. I'm assuming that it would be a bit typical. By the way, memoirs is already a very common thing in JavaScript and React and a lot of other programming languages. What it means is that you basically cache some value. You basically remember some value or function as returned. Okay. For example, uh, there is a sum function. Okay. Now in that sum function, I'm passing 5 and 10, two values, 5 and 10, and it is giving me 15. Okay. Now assume, obviously it is a mathematical function, very easy to do, but assume that this box, which was the function, was actually doing really heavy calculations. Okay. Now again in future, when 5 and 10 comes up, if we do that same calculation again and again, our computation will keep on increasing. Like we are just putting extra load. What if we can remember for the same input, if we can remember the output, we can just return that output directly. If the input is same, the output will remain the same. And therefore, if the input is something that we have remembered in past, we can just return that value. Okay. So that's how that works actually, memoize. So let's see. Given a function fn, return a memoized version of that function. Okay. I think in this we have to implement the memoization. So if that would be nice actually. Memorize function is a function that will never be called twice with the same input. For same input, it will give the output directly. It won't recalculate. Instead, it will return the cache value. Okay, caching. Yes. You can assume there are three possible input functions: sum, sum of items, Fibonacci series, and factorial series. Okay, I will go into depth of this later on because I think I understand these things. That's why you can go and see this. Fun- Sorry, function name sum, get call count. Okay, I will have to understand this. Somehow, whatever input they have written, I am unable to understand that correctly. It doesn't strike me very well. But when I see the explanation, like how they have written the code, then it start making sense to me. This is the sum function. Okay, we are passing that into a memoized. Great, and we are calling the memoized sum again and again. Now, the if you were just calling this sum function again and again, for same input, it will give the output, but it will again and again recalculate. But if you are passing this, doing this same thing with the memoized sum, what it will do is for same input, it will directly return the output by remembering it. Okay, only first time it will calculate this. Okay, and there is something called as get call count. Okay, so we will have to implement this. Let's see. So first, my task is instead of remembering things, making sure that at least we are able to implement it correctly. So again, this is a closure principle, outer functions, inner functions, and all. So memoized, getting past this. So let's return. Instead of return, I'll just calculate it. Result equals to, because I know I'll have to write extra code in the end. So yeah, return result. That's first. Let's run this. For the sum, we got 220. This. Okay, but we are able to calculate it. Output is 44233. 44, which is, let me check. Call. After that, they are doing get call count and something else. Okay, I'm getting confused with this, but the point is that we are able to get the output correctly. We are able to calculate and run the function correctly. Now we have to remember these values. So if you have to remember, if anything comes up like this, that for input we have to process the output, remembering things, keeping it as an object, keeping it as a hash are really great way. Okay. So what we will do is, let me check one thing. Two separate calls. Okay. Sum accepts two integers a and b, returns a plus b. Assume that if the value has already been cached for the arguments b and a, where b and a. Okay, so what it is saying is that for 3 and 2, the sum will be 5. For 2 and 3, the sum will be 5. But this will get calculated, this will also get calculated. So if the arguments are reversed, they should be treated separately. Okay. So in this, we can see that the key is 3, 2. Okay, we can convert that into a string and key is 3, 2. This is 2, 3. Okay. So what it means is that if we are getting the key 3, 2 and remember the value, we can return it. if we are getting the value 2, 3, remember the value, we can return it. Let's try that. Const, no, not const, let cache. Let's create an object. Inside that object, I'll keep on adding new items based on whatever we process. So whatever arguments are there, this can be 3, 2, 2, 3, and whatever result is there, I'll keep on adding to it. So let's first keep on adding. So to keep on adding, I'll have to convert this into a string. So let me check that. Let key equals to json.stringify, stringify args. Let me check this. Console.log key run. Let's see if we are able to convert this into a string. Keys 2323. Okay. What do we want to? Keys 2, keys 2, keys 1. I'm getting kind of confused here. Let me check this. Console.log args. Let's console args, and from that we'll console key also and see. So the arguments are 2, 2, and that's why key is 2, 2. Okay, so earlier was correct, I think. No, it is giving us count. We don't need the count. So let's keep it like this, and we'll see later on. Okay. So for now we have got the key. Now using this key, we'll cache the value. Okay. So the structure will be something like this. 2, 2 is the key, and the result of that will be 4. Okay. Then let's say 4, 2 is the key. The result of that will be 6. 2, 6 or 2, 4 will be the key, and the result of that will be 6. Okay. And if again the function passes 2, 2, we'll directly use this cache value and return it. Okay. Now I have hard coded this, but we have to add it technically correctly. So for that, we can use cache key equals to result. Okay. And after each one of this, we have added it. I'm assuming we'll keep on adding it. But if we have added it, and if it is already available, if the key is already available, we want to use that value directly. So we'll have to write that code here. If cache contains key, it should not be equals to null, no, undefined. If it is not equals to undefined, that means the key is present and the value is also present. And if that value is present, we will just write console.log. For now, this is just for testing. Already present. Okay, and we'll return that value. Okay, so you can see if we are returning it here, we are not calculating the function again. We are not calling it again. We are just returning the value from cache. Let's see. Okay, that's how did it pass? It should not have passed. Okay, already present. This get call count is getting confusing from my end, but I think they have some function related thing which is managing this. And if it is doing that, that means we were not supposed to implement that. We are just supposed to implement. We just had to implement this logic. So that's it. Let me quickly summarize this. If you see this function, if the arguments are same, let's say arguments are unique, they are getting added set for the first time. In that case, this will return false. This will be a false condition, and that means we are calculating the value and saving it into a cache for the future purpose. Now, if we are again calling this function with the same arguments, this will give us this condition will be true and it will return the value directly, and therefore we can say that this function is not getting called second time, which means that computation is not happening again and again. And this is the concept of memorization. This is really great. This problem statement is really great. Like, it's easy. It's just that you're understanding how memorization works. So yeah, Obviously, on the hindsight, it might be a bit more complicated this because we have just used an object, but yeah, somewhere around the line, it would be same. So let's submit and see if we are actually on the right track. And yes, and let's see the best answer. They've used hashmap. Actually, I could have used hashmap also. I did mention it that hashmap, object, all these are same. So for key, using hashmap would have been same, and using the same. What did I say? Hashmap is hashmap object. Sorry, hashmap or JavaScript objects. All of them are same actually. Not a big deal. Let me see a couple of more. Map is the more general one. Okay, let's submit. Already submitted. That's it. Thank you. Bye bye.